We're all conditioned to believe that your birthday is the one day a year you're actually allowed to be selfish. A day where wanting attention is not only acceptable, it's expected. You crave the messages, the notifications, the familiar phrase typed out by people who don't always say it out loud. Happy birthday. And with each one, there's that small, quiet rush, a hit of dopamine, proof that the world sees you, that you're still here. But what if I told you that the person who ignores their birthday might actually be more emotionally advanced than the rest of us? While most people are chasing validation, like it's a substance their nervous system depends on, there's a smaller group who figured something out early. Something subtle, something uncomfortable. You've met them. You definitely have. They're the birthday ghosts in your social circle. While everyone else is counting down days online like they're launching a SpaceX rocket, these people are just there. No buildup, no announcement, no performance, no party, no birthday behavior. Sometimes not even a mention of the date. You might assume they're just humble, or too busy, or that life simply slipped their mind. But the truth is more interesting than that. I remember an old job I had. One day I found out it was my coworker's 30th, a big one. I walked up to him energized, already running the script in my head. Happy birthday. Where are we grabbing drinks? I expected a smile, at least a reaction. Instead, he looked up from his monitor, paused, gave a slow, genuine shrug, and said he doesn't really do birthdays. No edge, no irony, no attempt to look detached. Just neutral. It felt like I'd told him the office carpet was gray. That moment sticks with you, because it forces a question. What's the secret? How does someone get to a place where a personal milestone has no emotional charge at all? Why do some people seem to completely rewrite their relationship with days that are supposed to matter? And it turns out this isn't about being difficult, or cold, or antisocial. There are layers here, quiet ones, psychological ones, layers that might change how you see yourself and how you read the people around you. When you see someone brushing off their birthday, it's easy to assume they're distant, closed off. But for many of them, it's not a personality trait. It's a survival strategy. They learned slowly and repeatedly that high expectations tend to end painfully. So their mind adapted. Brick by brick, it built a wall around the idea of a special day. Not out of bitterness, but protection. Maybe it started young, a party where half the guests didn't show, a cake that went untouched, or later in life, years where the people who mattered most forgot the date entirely, or sent a rushed, generic message that felt more like obligation than care. After enough of that, something clicks. The mind makes a decision without asking you. Treat the day like any other, not because it doesn't matter, but because disappointment does. By keeping expectations at zero, they never have to ride the hope and crash cycle. Psychologists call it a protective wall, an emotional buffer, a way to keep the internal world steady and predictable. They train themselves to find satisfaction in ordinary moments, because the extraordinary ones kept letting them down. From the outside, it can look lonely, even cynical, but from the inside, it feels like peace. A quiet Tuesday with no emotional debt is safer than a special day that ends in silence. And then there's another group. This one feels especially familiar now. These people aren't hiding from old wounds. They're just tired, deeply tired. We live in a world that never powers down, always on, always demanding. For some, life has become so loud that their birthday simply dissolves into the noise. Not ignored, not rejected, just lost in the static. Think about what happens when life never lets up. Deadlines stacking, bills waiting, notifications lighting up your phone before you've even finished one thought. At some point, your brain starts prioritizing like it's in a crisis. Not dramatically, quietly. It slips into survival mode. In that state, there's only room for what's urgent. Will this cost me my job? Is the car still broken? Did I answer that email? If it's not an immediate fire, it gets pushed aside without ceremony. For people living like this, a birthday isn't an event. It's another thing to manage. Another expectation they don't have the energy to carry. It's not a choice to withdraw, not a statement, not avoidance. It's overload. Their internal system is already at capacity, so the date loses its weight. Not because it doesn't matter, but because everything else matters too much. Anniversaries, milestones, even joy. They fade into the background as the mind focuses on staying afloat. There's a kind of numbness here, yes, but it isn't emotional failure. It's exhaustion. When you're running a marathon every single day, you don't stop to admire the view. You're just trying to reach the end without collapsing. And then, there's another group. This is the one that makes psychologists lean forward, the one most people quietly envy. These people aren't avoiding birthdays because they're wounded or overwhelmed. They're skipping them because they don't need them. They've discovered something rare: internal validation. Most of us walk around with an empty cup, waiting, waiting for someone else to fill it. Likes, messages, public recognition, proof that we matter. But these people, their cup is already full. They don't need a specific Tuesday in July to confirm their worth. They don't wait for celebration to feel solid. Their sense of value doesn't spike or crash based on who remembers and who forgets. It's steady. They carry an internal compass that stays locked on true north no matter what's happening outside. That kind of grounding changes everything. It's why they don't chase titles, why they don't brag, why achievements land quietly instead of demanding applause. They celebrate themselves internally, a little bit, every day, instead of compressing all meaning into one 24-hour window on a calendar. From the outside, it can look strange, detached, even alien. But up close, it's freedom, the kind most people spend years and thousands of dollars trying to reach. When you step back, you realize something. How someone treats their birthday is a tiny window into how they move through life. It's never really about cake or gifts. It's about regulation, resilience, adaptation. When someone treats the day like any other, you're not seeing indifference. You're seeing stability. These birthday ghosts are quietly challenging a script we were handed as kids. They're showing that maturity isn't volume. It's baseline, a calm that doesn't disappear when the spotlight turns off. Whether they're protecting an old wound or living from a deeply anchored center, there's something profound there. They're not riding the emotional roller coaster of anticipation and crash. They don't need a peak to avoid a low, which leaves you with an uncomfortable question. What's really driving your own approach? Do you need the party to feel enough, or are you building that internal compass for yourself? There's no verdict here, no diagnosis, just clarity. And maybe next time you see someone skipping the celebration, you won't feel sorry for them. You might realize they're the most centered person in the room.